What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I am BDLM, coming to you with my buddy J4Y, bringing you this Dota On Demand Podcast. That's right, episode number 22. What is going on, buddy?
A whole lot. Well, I always say that intro the same. I need to break it out of the norm here. I need to say something really cool or witty after you say that intro. It's always like, I'm good. You?
I just robbed the bank, quick.
Get in my van. Oh, that'd be creepy. I probably shouldn't say that. Well, I am actually doing well, believe it or not. Excited to get this going. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good this day night.
Yes.
I think I know why you're having a good day as well. You want to take it away with some of our new news?
We got some news up in here. We are officially now partnered with DotaTalk.com. So www.dotatalk.com. That's actually their little jingle, believe it or not, that I just made up for them. So
there you go. You're welcome.
It's a bunch of really cool guys actually put this site together. It's all this Dota 1 and 2 news. There's a good amount of focus on like the Asian scene, but it's all over the continent, honestly. There's a lot of cool stuff. There's some good forums going on, some streams, and then we have even our own little section now. It's just called Dota On Demand. It's one of the tabs so when you go to the site, check us out. We post all these things on there now, saying when our new episodes are up, maybe if we have some news to spread, such as this, things like that.
There you go.
It's pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, I've been on there reading some of the interviews they've had on there with Invasion Red, members of Orange, stuff like that. Really awesome stuff. And of course, the Asian scene is typically not something I've looked a lot into, so it's really nice to actually have this good source of information to get sort of another area up and coming in Dota 2. So very nice. Really happy that we're with them. And also, we are going to be giving away a beta key between now and next week.
I know, if that's not thrilling enough. I mean, it's pretty awesome. We got some hookups. Let's just put it that way. We're on the in now. So, we're this many steps closer to getting on Ice Frog's contact list. So, that's our mission. That's our mission here. I think it's our mission statement, actually, our business model, to be an Ice Frag. We could probably get an Ice Frag's contact list, but Ice Frog's the one we want to get after. So you want to explain exactly what's going to happen with that?
What you guys have to do between now and our cast next week. Actually, let's make it easy on you and me. Between now and Tuesday, you have to come and like us on Facebook, and then comment, Facebook message us a question that we may or may not answer next week. The winner will probably have their question on the cast next week, I'd imagine.
I would imagine.
And I guess if you win, we'll also give you the key. I mean, that's an option too. So yeah, like us on Facebook, send us a message, or leave us a comment on our Facebook wall, and the key is all yours.
That's right.
Boom.
And you can get that. Look right below me if you're watching this on YouTube. We have all our links there. It's www.facebook.com/DotaOnDemand, all in word. And it doesn't hurt to also use our Twitter and other things, but the whole point is we want to get more involvement out of you guys as a community. So yeah, definitely go for it. I mean, it doesn't hurt to get a free beta key, right? You can use that however you want. I don't even care if you play. You can sell it on the black market if you want. I mean,
troll with it. I mean, how does Ajax? I just level stats, right? It'd be great.
That's how you play them, but that's a different story.
Well, we also will be bringing you. I know I said bye today, our first guide, but I will tell you it's on Nature's Prophet, and that will be happening within the next couple days, and we will also have that up as well. First in a nice little series. We've also got some other nice stuff in the works, but we'll fill you guys in as that stuff.
Yeah, that started. We said we were so excited about it. We're like, oh man, we really want to do these guides. It's gonna be cool. And then we started working on it. We're like, whoa, this is actually taking a good amount of work. And believe it or not, we'd like to do a couple things outside of this podcast in real life, so it is taking just a little bit longer than we anticipated. But we have a lot of material worked out for it, and hopefully it's going to come into this beautiful package at the end. So we don't shortchange ourselves on quality. That's what we're number one about, right?
There you go. Just like Valve. Boom.
Oh. Oh my God.
Anyway, moving into the first section of our little thingy thing. We'll start off with some more viewer questions you guys were nice enough to send us.
Oh God.
So what do you got
first,
man?
I'm still a little newbie. Here we go.
Here you go. Part the red seas of the pictures into the corners. I believe in you. You got it.
Believe in the heart of the cards. Oh
There you
no.
go.
That's a bad sound. Oh, we got it! Alright, that was not nearly as smooth as the last one. Last week it was like flawless. I was just like, boom, 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 done. I was like, oh, so good.
There you go.
This time I'm like,
Well.
oh, error message. Oh, wait. And we're here.
Spam click. Okay.
Yeah, so viewer questions, obviously, like we've been saying this whole time, submit your questions via email or Twitter. You've got that information by now.
Facebook.
Or Facebook, at least in the next week. You definitely would want to do that option of all of them so far, I would say. But yeah, do you want me just to jump it right into it?
Yeah, go for it, man.
Alrighty, so we got our first question here by, I was telling him before the cast, I don't know how really to pronounce this name any other way than the way I'm going to do it. Filkser. Filkser? Thank you, Filkser, for having that name.
Mjolnir.
Just
Mjolnir.
Someone should just name themselves Mjolnir, or just message us as Mjolnir. I'll be happy. We'll both be happy. Anyway, so this gentle person, man, whatever he is, asks the following: what heroes would you build the following items on? And so we're going to go back and forth. Let's just start off with the Radiance. Now, we've talked about this item before, but and I remember one hero specifically you said you didn't like it on, good old DB. But I'm going to let you go ahead. What would you say? Who would you like to see that on of the hero pool?
Doombringer. No, I mean, it's not that I don't like it on Doombringer. It's just, I guess depending on how the game winds up going, you can't just be like, I'm picking Doombringer, so it's first item Radiance or bust. Because, I mean, just the item itself, it's really good if you're going to survive a long time. If you can farm well and quickly, there's sort of the proverbial get it before, or the what's the phrase I'm thinking of? Just the sort of mantra of get it before 27 minutes or it's not worth it, sort of thing. So that's why it's kind of common on a hero like Doombringer who can farm so well. Weaver, another really good choice as well to get that item. And of course the Geminate attack is going to be getting an application of damage, so that's why it's again another a good pickup on him. But yeah, I don't know, weird item. What do you think would be good on?
I mean, I personally, I do like the Lone Druid build with it. So where you just you stay in the jungle for about 10-12 minutes, just non-stop farming. Don't even think about ganking unless it's a very easy opportunity, and then you just go straight for that relic, turn into a Radiance, put it on that bear, and that bear can just mess people up, especially with the Radiance in about the 18-20 minute mark. Just for the fact that, first of all, he's got 2,600 health at the last rank. He's not going down anytime soon. Obviously he gets that speed boost from your Rabid, so he's moving really fast, and he gets the additional movement speed from Synergy. So, like, he's just going really quick all the time, and he can just stay on people, and that's the beautiful thing. Like, he's going to just do periodic damage over time. He's going to prevent people from blinking. I explained this a little bit when we talked about Lone Druid, but I really do love that build. It doesn't work all the time, but it can be fun if you get to use it right.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's a really situational item. I mean, if you can actually get that far into the game and then not have to worry about pressure before then, or needing more than just the Radiance at that point, then you're solid with it. But if you're just sitting naked with the Radiance and there are 5 enemies at the gates, I mean, it's kind of a tough position to be in.
Yeah, that's very true. And I mean, I think, well, at least my personal problem with the item itself is that it only is really just straight up damage. It doesn't provide anything else for your hero. It doesn't provide any utility. It doesn't provide any stats. It's just damage. So while damage is great and all, it doesn't really, especially when it comes to mid-late game, it really does trail off, and it doesn't become because it's such an expensive investment too for the damage. So would you rather have put that 5k gold towards another huge item? You could have another huge item that maybe helps a lot more at that point in the game. That's all.
Yeah, very true. So what about the Scotty? I mean,
there's got to be the obvious answer. I just had to throw it out there since episode 20. Dazzle, #1 pick, obviously.
If you could just go through the reasoning on that one, that would be great.
Well, I mean, do I have to? It should be obvious.
That it's not obvious, but
for all that most obvious reasons. Actually, I remember seeing a comment post on one of our YouTubes. One of the people said that they actually did the same thing back in Dota 1. They ran Dazzle mid with a Scotty. I was like, oh, I wasn't alone. This is maybe that's the guy I got it from. I don't know. But, like, we were just the two lone Scotty Dazzle masters or something. But either way, the reason it's so amazing on Dazzle, because this is totally not a troll moment, is that stats are always great. I love to have stats on any hero, frankly. Strength, gives you health. Agility for more attacks and armor. Intellect, because he's an intellect hero. So you get a couple ulti orbs. You're a well-rounded individual. And then you go with that nice slow on top of that. Constant move and attack speed slow, may I add. Now that can be really helpful against hard carries late game. So while you have the poison touch that does affect movement speed, it doesn't affect attack speed. So you gotta think of it like that. Like, I'm investing to slow their hard carries attack speed. That's my Dazzle roll.
Your Dazzle roll.
Do a Dazzle roll.
I really like it on, maybe the less successful uses of it are on Morphling and heroes like Queen of Pain.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy. Morphling, of course, because stats is any stat you want it to be. So, you're getting all that agility and the strength. You can pour that into more damage or more health if you like. And then, of course, you don't really have any kind of slow as Morphling, so just being able to hold somebody in place a little bit longer, be able to get more attacks on them is very nice.
I do. I was gonna say I do love it on Morphling. That's one of my favorite items on Morphling. It's expensive, but he benefits probably the most from stats, overall stats, than anyone else, just because you can switch back straight to agility. So yeah, totally agree with that one.
I think I like it better than the Ethereal Blade, to be honest.
That's preference. Like, do you want to go with the shotgun blast, or do you want to go for consistent damage throughout a fight? That's really just which way you want to go.
Yeah. It's very true. And then, like, auto-attack heroes like Queen of Pain, like those ints that sort of turn into auto-attackers late, I think make a lot of sense as well. So there you go. I think those would be my picks.
Those are, like you said, they're obviously a lot weaker than my obvious choice. You can. You can. Honestly.
There's no debate.
And the funny thing
is,
there's no
baiting about it.
I would not bait about it any time in my life, I don't think, to be honest. But yeah, it's funny. In Heroes of New Earth, because we did watch a lot of that back in the day competitively, the way you built a Scotty, or their equivalent of Scotty, was a lot different than the Dota version. Because in the Han version, you used what we call, a Sage in Dota.
Sage.
A Sage with an ulti orb, a point booster, and the recipe. That got you the Scotty in that game. Whereas in this one, it's 2 ulti orbs, the Venom orb or whatever, and then that's about it.
Point booster?
Point booster, that's about it. So
that's about it, except for the point booster.
You should realize by now when I'm like starting to fade off there, that's when you come in and save the day. Anyways.
Point booster.
So what a lot of hard carries, you pretty much actually saw that on like most hard carries like Shadow Fiend, Mirana, those kind of heroes, because they would build Sage and Yasha right away, because it's a pretty cheap item and it gives you some good stats. Then they would split the Sage and Yasha. They would turn the Yasha into the no, this item and me do not get along.
You don't.
It's just a fact.
Starts with an M.
Is it Mirana's item?
Close.
No, I know what it is. It's Manta style.
Hey!
It's not because I just googled it, but believe it or not. So they would turn that Yasha into Manta style, and then they would turn the Sage into the Scotty, and they would have 2 really powerful items, and they didn't waste any money building it, because they used every item they bought along the way. So, yeah, it was pretty interesting in Han. But now, obviously, when's the last time you saw Scotty in a competitive game?
Yeah, it's been a while. Just on Morphling. It's generally people have been going the Ethereal Blade on him instead of the Scotty. But yeah, so the real question is now, who is going to start getting Sage and Yasha and then break it apart into Heaven's Halberd and Mana Styles?
A strength hero that needs a Manta style. Sven.
It's Axe.
Actually, Sven wouldn't be that good because his images wouldn't get his ulti. which is a pity. Night Stalker, perhaps. Do they get the movement speed? They should. If they get the movement speed, okay, that would be pretty good. Or Skelly King with images. That'd be just rude. It would do some crazy damage.
That'd be hilarious. Things to troll with, kids. When you win that second beta key, that's the kind of stuff you do.
Triple Kunko with his Tidebringer. Just.
That'd be awesome.
But yeah, there you go. That's a new idea. That's another item thing we can choose. Break that up into your item. I like it. Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. I guess we could just roll up.
Perhaps. All right.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you for the question.
Philxxer. Thank you so much for that beautiful question. So let's move along here to question numero dos. This is from Star Sorrow, which we only can have to assume it's a female because we have so many female viewers that it's just hard to, keep them down.
All of them.
This is obviously just one of them. And the reason I'm saying is because they include a frowny face in the question. So
the emote. I got you.
So the question is, what does BDLM have against Goblin Techies? Frowny face.
Everything. Just everything. I don't like blowing up spontaneously.
Well, that's your problem right off the bat, but...
Yeah. Just...
I personally like to be spontaneous when I explode, but...
Techies is like one of those heroes that when he kills you, you're just like... And then you just wait to respawn, and you're like, I guess I'll click back into the lane. Like, if you just happen to be standing on a bajillion mines, then you're dead. And you're just like, oh, sup, I got Blink Dagger. Boom, you're dead. Because, of course, that'd be also hilarious. Just Blink Detonate on somebody.
Dude, I told you about that combo, man. It's called Suicide Squad Attack in Dota 1, so...
Yeah. Not a fan of such things. So that's my problem.
Well, I can tell you exactly why this hero belongs in the meta. I can tell you so many reasons, but I'll just keep it short and sweet.
Okay.
Besides the fact that he's awesome, that's just the first reason. I would not build him Suicide Squad Attack because I think that is the most trolly, silly build of them all. And obviously, it only puts you back. It puts you back later in the game. However, with landmines and remote mines, he has the potential to clear creep waves the fastest of any hero in the game, especially with remote mines. They one-shot creep waves. So, if you get to use those efficiently, you can essentially push or defend against attacks, or obviously push attacks. Probably the best of any hero just because of remote mines. Stasis traps, when placed well, give a really nice long stun if you can use it effectively. And what people say, obviously, his downfall would be like a Gem of True Sight. Because once some hero picks that up, they see all your mines and everything, and then you don't do any damage in team fights. It's not completely true, because remote mines are remote. Therefore, they have a range on them. I believe it's 500 range, and actually Agamemnon's Scepter gives 200 more range to that. So
thank you, Ogden Scepter, for making him more trolly.
More trolly would be like your Suicide Squad now does it twice or something. I don't know. That would be insane. But besides that, yeah, I don't know. He's pretty good, and actually, unless I'm wrong, I believe his landmines will damage towers if they're placed next to him. But I don't think if they get detonated by creeps next to a tower, I believe it does damage. Correct me if I'm wrong, viewers. Go ahead. Tell me I'm wrong, but I don't believe I am in that case. But either way, he's an amazing pusher. That's why he's in this meta. Hey, there's my 2 cents. I say 2 cents way too much. I should give out like 3 cents by now because I've said it so much.
There you go.
But I'm too
I do like Goblin Techies with Radiance and Scotty.
Oh.
That's the only situation I like him in. Forgot to mention.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that just makes way too much sense at that point.
Yeah. Because you're slowing them, keeping the Radiance burn on them.
And
then if they try and fight you, you get low, you just Suicide Squad, and you're good.
And then, or you could use your new build that split the Sange and Yasha into Manta Style and Heaven's Halberd. Yeah, that would just be perfect on him. I couldn't.
Perfect.
Perfect is the word to use.
Best word.
So there you go, Star. So that's why VDL he just has a hatred in his heart that's not gonna get cleansed anytime soon, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But alas.
What can we do?
What can you do? Move on to the next question. That's what you can do. And it's from Orange Cat, who props to the name. I do like it a lot. I'm a fan of Garfield, so
There you go.
that makes a lot of sense. So, anyways, he asked us to design a lane with 2 strength heroes that dominates. So I'm guessing that means that should win against most other combinations. So I'll let you start this off.
Okay. I always get in trouble for bringing him up, but Io and Skelly King is like, I haven't tried it yet. I'm
Well,
going
I wonder
to.
why.
As soon as he comes into the
I
game,
was gonna say.
me and Jay both actually just downloaded Frozen Throne again, and I think I'm going to force you into playing Skelly King
Oh no.
just once. Because the beautiful thing with that there, if I may, is that you think if Skelly King gets a 4-staff as well, between him and Io, the ability to initiate is just fantastic. I mean, just relocating, bringing him to another lane, and then using the stun and the slow from the Hellfire Blast, and then all the mobility that Io gives to both of them. I mean, it's just fantastic. Then if you want, you can leave Skelly King there, go back to your own lane to defend your tower, let Skelly King with his Vamp Aura push the tower, or you can just take him back to your lane and farm with him and just take that kill advantage. So I think that's a really strong setup there between 2 strength heroes. We're talking... Or what do you think about that? I know, you don't like it when I talk.
I do like when you talk, don't get me wrong. I just like when you
I
leave me
hate
room
your
to talk
words.
as well. That's all. And I appreciate the little, invitation
Pause.
to speak. Pals. We gotta stop that. All right. So I definitely like it. And I'm not gonna get into mine quite yet, but I think it's funny that both our builds involve Skeleton King, and there's a reason for it. He is a super strong laner, and it's funny. He was actually picked up a few times in competitive scene. There was like a few week period. He was picked up actually a decent amount. He even got a hand of Midas sometimes. He just went crazy and farmed up and just dominated late game because he has crit, lifesteal, a reliable stun, and Ank. I mean, what a powerhouse. I don't really know how too many people can stand up to that. So, and that's the other reason I like him in a double strength combination, because he is really tanky. He has a reliable CC, which a lot of other strengths might not necessarily have. So it's really good to have that. And he pumps out the damage, which other strengths might not have so much in the laning phase, which is why I think it's so important to have these things in the laning phase, because that's where the 2 strengths are really going to be short-ended compared to the lanes they're up against. I would think like most int heroes are going to out-damage them or outrange them. So that's why you need this, like you said, Hellfire Blast or other moves to keep up with it.
Mm-hmm. So what about your lane? I have others.
Oh, I do too. So I'll say my
turn.
real lane as well, and then we can go back with our other ones afterwards. My true lane I would like to see is Skeleton King Tidebringer and Tidehunter Tidebringer.
Kunkka.
I just want to see the move. I don't need the hero. I just want to see waves splashes. Can you imagine? No, give Tidebringer to Skeleton King, and then you're good to go.
There you go.
But no, I like that lane, and pretty much for the same reasons. Because, obviously, we already said Tidehunter or Skeleton King why he's so strong, but I love Tidehunter for the slow, the minus armor debuff, and he does reduce the damage if they're getting ganked. And then, of course, that ultimate. Oh, Ravage is just such a beastly move. Like, I think with the Gush and his Hellfire Blast on top of each other, they're going to take a ton of damage whoever they focus fire, and I don't think anyone's going to really be able to stand up. And if they even try to counter attack their gank, they're not going to win it because they're both strength heroes. They're tankier naturally, so it's not going to work out for them.
Yeah, the only problem I have with that is you can take a lot of harass damage in that game. I mean, you can get pushed off the creeps that you can't lifesteal back, which I think would be a problem.
You would need to be able to pull, I think, and keep some lane control. Yeah. I mean, you had Io, and that's not fair because he's the only other ranged, besides Huskar, the only other ranged strength hero. So,
Well, the other lane I stopped because I figured the point of the question was to trap us into making a double melee lane, really.
Which I did. Which I did.
My Dota 1 double melee lane would be Skelly King and Clockwork.
Why is this Dota 1? Why not 2?
2.
You said 1. Like, that could be Dota 2,
Just Dota 1.
Okay,
no?
okay.
Skelly King and Clockwork, because you have the harass with the rockets, you also have the mini stuns, and then the trap on top of it with the power cogs, which I think is awesome. But the other ones that I just kind of popped in my head, Omni Knight and Huskar, which I think is pub stomp lane to the max.
What?
Jump, heal,
okay,
laugh.
but the jump is level 6, so...
Alright, well, you get 2 heals in the lane, right? So you can sustain yourself in the lane. One of you is ranged, so you're all good there.
No, I found the better lane for Dota 1. Magnetar, Omni Knight.
Oh.
Yeah, because Magnetar does that... Oh, yeah. Because he does that charge move where he charges towards the enemy and knocks him back a set distance. He goes a certain distance with the enemy hero, and I think if he lands at a map object like a tree or something, it stuns them or something. I'm not 100% about that. But Magnetar obviously also has his burst damage with his Sonic Wave. Or Shockwave? Shockwave. So, it's a Dota 1 hero, okay? I get a little slack for this one. So he does the charge, Omni Knight throws the heal, and this also works very well if Omni Knight can pick up Arcane Boots, because they're both very mana-intensive heroes. So they would just keep sustaining and keep dominating. I think that would be an awesome, better Dota 1 that, you know, will have a face-off of Dota 1 lanes, and mine will most certainly not win, probably, but that's okay.
The other one I thought of, too, was Tidehunter and Huskar, because, yeah... Just good.
Tidehunter just synergizes with a ton of carries. Like, that's what's awesome about him. The minus armor and the slow, like, it's all packed into one move. That's what's awesome. It's like, I kind of do awesome things with one spell. What do you got? Like, that's probably why his Kraken Shell doesn't really do as much as other things in the game. But
yeah, I mean, the rest of his kit is amazing. All three of his other abilities are just stellar.
He needs a Achilles heel somewhere, you know.
Even Kraken Shell is
it's pretty good. It serves a purpose, but it's anyways, I wanted to finish off with my amazing combo that I should have started with. Ready?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Oh, now
you're
ready. Okay. Pudge. Alchemist. Yes.
How could it go wrong? Dude. Oh, that's stupid.
No, it is.
I didn't even think about that. That's hilarious.
No, it's amazing. Because you're gonna slow him down with Rot. So Alchemist is gonna wind up his stun. He's going to do a nice, really long stun. 3.5, 4 seconds. There's no way you could miss a hook on a 4-second stun person. Even you could land that hook. That's how easy it is.
Maybe.
Well, true. There's a chance. But
I was actually thinking it'd be funny if you, like, level 1 just sat in the woods, and then you hook somebody in, like, after Alchemist has been charging up his stun, and then you stun them as soon as they get in. That'd be hilarious. Oh, man. I like that one. That's a good trolling.
Thank you. And actually... Thank you. It's not even that troll. It might actually work. But it's funny, before this cast I also was saying, what would happen randomly if my fire alarm went off? The building next to us' fire alarm is going off. So I'm crossing my fingers that like doesn't spread like an HIV over to here and just infect our insides. that came off a little weird. There you go. So thank you, Orange Cat. I will award you with a pan of lasagna later for that. If you're a good kitty. And...
This is getting strange.
Oh, yeah. So, moving along down to our good friend, the Beaver. I mean Brewmaster. I meant Badger. Beaver, Badger, Brewmaster. The Triple B threat is what we're going to call him tonight. Good old Brewmaster. So, in the game, what are you thinking?
He's an interesting hero. One that I wasn't too excited about, but now that I've gotten to see him play, and I've actually looked back through some Dota 1 replays, am kind of interested in, as far as the competitive scene goes. Actually, with our new buddy Dota Talk, I was able to go through and look at some of the games played in a recent tournament in the GST, I believe it was, and got to see the picks and the bans by the teams in that tournament, and picked or banned every single game. And it's funny because at first I didn't really think of him as being that much of a threat, but he is a strength hero that has the potential to do a lot of damage, burst and consistent, as well as being able to provide a lot of slows and mischance, which is something that not very many heroes provide.
Absolutely. And do you know his strength gain per level, good sir?
2.9.
I totally saw your eyes go off the webcam for about a half a Okay, that's creepy. Also, his name was Mangix in Dota 1.
Thank you.
That was an important, knowledgeable... That's the random fact of the day. Mangix.
There you go.
When
we're talking about his gains, he does have a really small mana pool. I mean, you can even look at his starting stats. 23, 16, and 14. So his int just really low by comparison to like his initial strength, and the gain is 1.25. So he does suffer from having kind of a small mana pool.
Yeah, it's similar to Tiny's starting mana pool because he starts at the 182 with no items. Tiny, I think, is like exactly around that same point, except obviously Tiny's quite more mana intensive as a hero than Brewmaster. Well, depending. Okay, overall yes, because you use the 2 spells compared to really 1 at a time, but. You know what? Okay, it's similar either way. The point is, I'm just gonna keep going back and forth in my head about it.
Go with yourself. There you go.
I guess my problem though was that his cooldown was 12 seconds on his big nuke. Let's just start going to the abilities because we're kind of getting there anyways.
Yeah, I'll start off with
Yeah.
Thunderclap. 400 radius, slams the ground, dealing damage with slowing movement and attack speed in the area. So that's something we were talking about earlier with Scotty. The attack speed starts at 25%, goes up to 55%. So does the movement speed slow. It goes from 100 to 300 damage. And the duration is 4.25 seconds on heroes and 8 seconds for slow on creeps.
Darn right.
12-second cooldown, mana cost 90 to 150. Boom.
Boom! Well, literally, it's a thunderclap. It's like,
Yeah, there you go.
boom.
It actually is a lot like Ursa's Earth Shock to me.
Yeah.
Functions sort of similarly because Ursa also doesn't really have like a stun per se. So he has to jump on you, get the Earth Shock, and then just beat you down before you can run away.
Exactly. Except that Ursus doesn't slow attack speed, I don't think. Right?
Mm.
So, honestly,
so.
I'm actually literally pulling up Ursa now because I wouldn't expect it to talk about him in like any cast from now on, but poor guy. Yeah, okay, he does a 25 to 55 slow, but it's not attack speed, and it's actually less damage per rank, but it's 6-second cooldown, and it stays 75 mana cost. So I guess you're sacrificing cooldown and mana cost for attack speed slow and a little bit more damage, and I think that's totally worth it when you get 55% attack speed. That is the opposite of a Hyperstone. Like, a Hyperstone the other direction for enemies. Like, that's insanity. Imagine a Tidy attacking with 55% slow. That would just be, you'd be like, oh, I'm winding it up.
Yeah, that would be hilarious. But yeah, I mean, it's really nice because it's burst damage too, and it's sort of like the Mirana thing where he can do consistent damage late, but early on his spells are actually a good source of damage, or in this case his spell.
Right. Yeah, this is his big laning phase move. So generally you'll see it. I would say you'd see it maxed out most of the time, just because it also gives both the move attack speed per level and damage. Like, why wouldn't you want to prioritize that? Well, maybe we'll see why as we move on to the second move, which is called Drunken Haze. And I just also want to point out to everyone, I am officially using a Dota 2 site for my hero information. No longer using the Dota 1 site. I know, it took only 22 episodes, but I decided to make the switch.
Nice.
So, Drunken Haze drenches an enemy unit in alcohol. God, I wish I was the victim of this. Causing his movement speed to be reduced and causing his attacks to have a chance to miss. So this is an 850 range. That's a really far range for a melee hero especially. A 10-yard radius? Okay, I don't really understand what that's all about.
It's an AoE.
Is it really?
Yeah, but it's so small you don't really notice it unless people are like actually
like you'd have to be stacked like no tomorrow. Like a bird on Sunday, or whatever. I don't remember that phrase. Duration is exactly is 8 seconds on heroes or 12 on creeps. Okay? I just have to throw out there. I know they have to say these things about the creeps, but if you're using Drunken Haze on a creep, you've got to be desperate. Like, I don't know what you're thinking. But it also gives movement speed 14 to up to 26%. And then the most important part, I would say, is the miss chance it gives. That's 45 up to 75%. And that's for 8 seconds. It's only 50 mana, for every rank, and it's an 8-second cooldown. Really short cooldown. So this is a very important part of this hero.
I mean, this thing, too, it's an 8-second cooldown with an 8-second duration. So if you have the mana, you're going to chase them down.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they cannot get away from you in that situation. And then if it's a hard carry, I mean, they're not going to be able to fight you either. So unless they have Blink or support, you're going to be able to try and take them down.
Matt, how did we not realize this hero is the perfect use of Radiance and Scotty? This,
I mean, why only have 2 slows when you can have a third?
Perma-slow. You'll never see the light of day.
Here you go.
Anyways. But yeah, no, it's actually all starting to come together for me. We were discussing before, like, you were telling me he's picked or banned every game. I'm like, why? I don't like him, like, at all, but especially not enough to be picked or banned every game. It's really starting to stack up, and we're only 2 abilities in. That's the crazy thing. Like, how much he affects the enemy, that's what I really wasn't gathering until just now. The mischance, the attack speed slow, I mean, he's just a pain in the butt to deal with in a team fight. If he throws that Drunken Haze on a Ricky and then uses his Thunderclap, he's going to be doing hardly anything in the fight. I don't know. I think it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. A really, really nice ability. Again, you know, you can just keep it up the whole time. So it's like, how do you deal with it if you have the mana to be able to support it? His third ability, Drunken Brawler, gives the passive dodge and crit 2 times crit damage.
Mm-hmm.
The percent chance goes from 10 to 25 at rank 4 for both the dodge and the crit. These do not the other effect. Boom. So here's just a reliable source of damage. Late game, also some dodge chance. I mean, if you're going up against the hard carry in a lane, you're going to be able to dodge their attacks so they try and go for you, potentially dodge harassment from the supports, and then making your life a little bit easier for lasting creeps.
This is essentially giving him a Talisman of Evasion and a Chrysalis without the extra damage. Like, for free. He just has to put points in it. That's a crazy ability right there. And I remember, because there was other heroes that had kind of similar abilities. Like, I know Bounty Hunter used to have dodge chance. I think it was dodge and crit.
With Janata.
Yeah, with Janata, and then they reworked that because they didn't want him to have that passive, but they kept it on Brewmaster, and I guess maybe it's because he's a strength, so he doesn't really, like, go insane with I don't know, maybe attack speed because he's not agility. I'm not exactly sure the reason, but I guess they felt that he could maintain that, but I don't know, it just seems really, really strong of a move.
I gotta say, I'm a little sad that he has dodge and so many slows, because like a strength hero that's going to be potentially a big part of the metagame, I was like, Heaven's Halberd, but then I'm like, oh yeah, 2 slows and dodge, so it's like, there's no point there. So essentially you have like that item.
Yeah, Heaven's Halberd does not stack with it, so
yeah,
that is a pity. This would because this would be a perfect hero to build that on otherwise.
Yeah.
Too bad, but I don't know. It's definitely a strong ability, and one of the reasons why he can carry you into the late game. And then, of course, the other reason is his ultimate, called Primal Split.
He has one of those?
They must have just patched it in, because up to this point, I didn't think he didn't need it. They just kept him with 3 abilities and said, go ahead, you have fun.
I just realized how much I miss your old catchphrase of, this hero has 4 abilities.
That was when I was young and innocent. The world has changed me. So, anyways, yeah, he splits the Brewmaster into elements, forming 3 specialized warriors adept at survival. If any of them survive until the end of their summoned timer, the Brewmaster is then reborn. So this duration is 15 seconds starting out, up to 19. With a 180-second cooldown, so 3-minute cooldown, but that goes down to 140, or just over 2 minutes. 125 mana cost to start, up to 175, so pretty relatively cheap for an ultimate. That's not bad. And then, of course, there is actually an Agumon Scepter upgrade, which increases the duration by 5 seconds up to 7 seconds at the last rank, and reduces the cooldown by 20 seconds at each rank. And then it says increases the power of the warriors. I'm not 100% sure what that does. Do you know?
As far as I can tell, it is only the duration.
Oh yeah, because I'm looking at the stats of these three little dudes, and I'm not seeing any changes except for duration either.
Yeah.
So that's
I believe that's
a
all
shame.
it is.
But okay.
Oh, actually, the damage per second on the immolation aura goes up by 10.
No, it's just as... I think it might just be 55 at all ranks. Oh, no.
No, it's not.
Maybe. No, maybe. Alright, you're right. I just wanted to be right. It doesn't happen very often. Okay.
Just one.
Just one. Everybody gets one. So, I'm going to just go into one of these guys. We'll switch off, because this guy, all three of these are actually really unique. It's almost like a new hero for each one. So, let's start off. Okay, it's like you said, it's split into three elements. We're going to go into Earth first. This guy's got 1,500 health. Oh, never mind. I realize it now. There's 4 ranks of everything. So, the fourth one is probably the Agamon's upgrade, since most times Ultimate can only level 3 times. We are a couple of smart cookies. Anyways, 1,500 health, up to 3,000 rank 3, and then that's 3,800 with Agamon's. He has 400 mana up to 600 mana. Damage 37 to 43 at the first rank, and then 159 to 171 at the last. I'm not going to keep saying the Agamon's. It's just more. Just take my word for it. just believe in that. He's got 5 armor, 325 move speed, kind of a fatty. Sight range is normal. I don't know why I'm saying all these stats. Doesn't matter. And then he's got moves. He has moves. He has 3 moves, PDLM. First one being Hurl Boulder. I need to slow down. Hurl Boulder. Do you know what that does? It throws a boulder at a unit. Would you believe it?
Strange.
It does damage and stuns it. So it does 100 damage and 2 second stun. So obviously this is like the whole point of this guy. Do you want me? I'll finish it off, then you can discuss.
Yeah.
He's got spell immunity. I guess we won't talk about that one too much. Pretty self-explanatory. What do you think about spell immunity? Do you think it's a good ability to have? And then Pulverize provides a chance to do damage at a small radius. This is exactly like the old Tidehunter Anchor Smash. Yes, it still exists in the game somewhere. So has a chance, 20% chance to do 40 damage at 150 radius. So obviously not quite as much as the Anchor Smash was, but still cool. So yeah, what do you think about Mr. Earth?
Pretty nice. I mean, it's all about the Hurl Boulder, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It is important to note that the Earth Elemental is the one that gets all of your auras if you happen to, you know, need to know that. Also, he is the first panda you'll go back to, or he's the first priority for the panda you'll go back to once the LT wears off.
Very important.
But yeah, the Hurl Boulder, a stun. Good way to initiate. Fantastic. I mean, it really isn't that much more complicated than that. I mean, a 7-second cooldown really isn't that long, so you have the potential to use it multiple times as well. So, nope. Do you? Nope. Yes. Yes, you do. I was like, wait, these things okay, good, okay. But yeah, I mean, it's just really nice to have there. Just some extra crowd control. Always nice. I'm going to go ahead and start with... Do you have anything to say? I mean,
I was just going to go on the note of... Because you said so Earth is the first one he goes to when he dies, and then the auras do that. But if the Earth is dead before the other two, then it gets passed to Storm and then to Fire. That's the order that everything gets passed down to. So no, that's all, pretty much.
There you go. Storm is a range elemental, bear thing. His damage is actually significantly increased by the augments. It's more than doubled. So that is important to keep in mind. Movement speed at 350, so a little bit faster. What he's actually really good for, though, is his Q, which is called the spell Magic. It will damage summoned enemy units for 75 mana cost, 8-second cooldown. Doesn't do anything to non-summoned units, but good way of getting rid of Manta-style illusions or being able to pick out who is the real one amongst the illusions. Has Cyclone, the Yule Scepter knock-up, pretty much. 150 mana cost, 8-second cooldown, 6-second duration.
So long.
And a 600 range. So long, yes. He has temporary invisibility, if you feel like knowing that, with bonus movement speed and attack damage when invisible. So interesting. So he gets like the Shadow Blade thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Increase attack damage when invisible.
Exactly what it is.
So I think that's interesting. That's a lot of micro to have to do, but
and we're only 2 heroes in, 2 of the things in.
Yeah, I mean, he has good hard CC, the potential to do a good amount of damage, and then also a way to fight summoned units. Just good.
So micro-intensive. But the good thing with Dota 2 is that if you bind these, like for example, you split, and then while you're split, you bind, let's say, Earth to 2, Storm to 3, and Fire to 4. Every time you use your ulti from the rest of the game, it remembers that. So you don't have to keep rebinding or change anything. You'll have 2, 3, and 4 ready to go for your guys. That is kind of cool.
mean, what I was doing actually was you just keep them all in one control group, and then you just tab through the control group.
Well, that's if you're cool and have tab as that. I changed tab to be scoreboard for some reason, so now I can't tab through units. I need to change that really bad.
Yeah, because, I mean, at least the way that I would use the ultimate, it was pretty much always the same. It was have Earth first, pick someone to stun that you're going to go for, tab, get your Cyclone guy, knock somebody else up in the area, and then you just blow up the person that you want to go for. So, both options for trying to micro these. I mean, it's a lot of abilities, but, like, the spell magic, you're not going to, like, need to use OMG, like nobody's gonna rage at you. Why didn't you use the spell magic in your ulti? So if you can just keep tabs on the hurl boulder and the cyclone, you'll be pretty good to go with all of the bears. As fire is the only one left and only does.
Hey, don't you spoil my hero, my sub hero, if you want to call him. I don't know. By the way, 100 extra damage. You said it, but I'm still like, what? For that storm. I had no idea he gained that much. I thought that was a typo almost. I'm like, that's ridiculous. I wonder why. Okay, anyways, whatever balance they want to go with. So, fire. Yeah. Same duration as all the other ones. Really weak though, only 1,200 hit points, and that doesn't change. 70 damage up to 180. It's not even a range, it's just... Wow, that's just a lot of attack damage. So no armor, 522. Okay, max move speed. Base attack time, don't care. So basically, he's got sorry, I just don't. I frankly don't. So he's got one move called Permanent Immolation, which is probably why he's at max move speed, because he burns nearby enemy units. And this is what the when I was talking about the Cloak of Immolation. It's what this is. Essentially. You've
been waiting for Panda your whole life.
I know, like all these things are from Warcraft. I was just like, I miss them, and they're here. So yeah, burns nearby enemies. It's 15 damage per second, 30, 45. Then Agman's, like we said earlier, it goes up to 55 damage per second in a 220 area. It's pretty short radius, but since he moves max movement speed, it shouldn't be too hard to keep him on your enemies and dish out that damage. And like you said though, he is definitely the weakest of all of them by far, so obviously he's probably going to go down quick in a fight, but he does his purpose,
Yeah, I mean, let's just look at this. Okay, so you're a panda, you're owning face. You can break up into 3 pandas, and in order to die, you have to have all 3 of these killed. And if 2 of them get killed, you will go to wherever the 3rd one is when the duration ends. One of them has CC that allows you to attack the target. One of them has CC that just leaves somebody there for 6 seconds. And the other one just burns everybody up. I mean, this is an amazing ultimate. It's really good for being able to do damage, crowd control. It's just all around really nice. And also an escape mechanism, potentially, as well. To sort of get you out of dodge. Because, what if you're in a team fight and you're just getting focused? Pop the ulti. If you really want to, run fire out of it. He's going to be faster than everybody else. Just send him back to base and try and fight with Earth and Storm. And you'll be able to do just fine. Still being able to do damage, still be able to crowd control, and ensuring that you're going to survive.
Wait, did you say run out with fire?
If you wanted to, yeah.
Well, you can't force it to go back to fire, though. The other 2 have to die first.
No, but what I'm saying is, if you think you're going to die, you can pop the ulti. If you still think that there's way too much damage going out, right? Like, what if there's 5 people chasing one hero, and you really want to save them, right? So you pop the ulti, you just send fire in the other direction, you send Earth and Storm right at the enemy team. You stun somebody, you throw somebody else up. Both those die, it doesn't matter because fire's still safe.
If they die, yeah. Right. It's funny, though, because most people will try to keep at least one of those alive because they know about fire and how impossible he is to catch. Like, if you do kill the other 2, he can so easily escape. And actually, Storm can easily... I mean, Storm has Windwalk, So he can usually get out. Really, Earth's the only one that has trouble going anywhere, and he's got spell immunity. So it's not even that terrible. I mean, this is just such a great move in general that it is such a great way to survive. It does have that little cast time, though, that you have to be wary of.
It's true.
I don't remember the exact cast time. Do you remember it off the top of your head?
No, I don't, but it feels pretty similar to Syllabare's ulti.
I think it's like a half second or a second. It's like in that range.
Something like that, yeah.
But yeah. So if you catch them or stun them right before they finish, then yeah, you can kill them really quickly. So there you go. And mana, I would have to say Diffusal Blade is probably one of this guy's big weakness if he gets any kind of mana drain on him, because he's a pretty mana-dependent hero, let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to just like talk about some items real quick, just so we can try and figure out how we can best utilize this guy? I mean, I wasn't thinking about it before, but Arcane Boots is actually yeah. Again, looking at the Dota Talk website, looking at some of the team bans and picks, and seeing Brewmaster get picked up in Arcane Boots, I'm like, that actually makes a lot of sense, because let's just say you throw him in the lane against the enemy carry on purpose, send him against the safe lane, you can just blind and permablind with the Drunken Haze and make it difficult for that carry to pick up any farm whatsoever. And then, of course, you always have the mana for your Thunderclap, etc.
Which is, very essential. And then you always want to have mana for that ulti. Like, it's kind of similar to Skelly King in that regard, where if he doesn't have enough to use his ulti, then he's a sitting duck. Like, he's just ready to get taken out. Because that's Brewmaster's... And some people, it's kind of funny. People have, like, a different approach to his ulti. I know, personally, I fell among the people that, like, used it only defensively. I was like, I'm going to hold on to this until I get ganked, I'm about to die, pop it, get out of there with my guys, and be safe. However, you also see a lot of people, especially ones that build Agamons on him, go offensive with it and use all that CC and just, with his teammates' help, kill people really easily. Because if you have a stun, a cyclone like we went over, it's really easy actually to crowd control and kill people. So it is funny, like there really is different mindsets on which way to use it, best way to use it. Kind of also similar to Mirana's ulti in that sense, like it could be defensive, could be offensive. It really just depends on how you want to go with it. So
yeah, I mean, being able to just like open up with that stun, I mean, it's range, it's a far range, so you can very easily just initiate on somebody with it, kind of like a Beastmaster ulti, except I guess it is part of your ultimate, but it's not like the only thing your ultimate's going to be doing in that fight. Like, you can just pick somebody out, and they're probably going to go down. I think just the damage, too, with the Aghanims, I think makes it really attractive as well. The reduced cooldown isn't too drastic, but because you're getting so much extra damage, if you look at just the base stats of Brewmaster, his damage at level 25 is 141 to 148 without any items. Earth and Storm both have higher damage than that by themselves with Aghanim Scepter.
That's a good point.
It's a tremendous amount of damage that these guys are doing. And then, of course, with Fire, just 55 damage per second in an area around him. He can just really dish out a ton of damage.
Yeah. The only problem is, like we said, they're pretty squishy in terms of, like, they have little to no armor, all of them. I mean, Earth has a ton of health. I'll give him that. He is a tank and a half. But as far as the other two, pretty weak heroes overall, or weak, easy to kill, especially with a lot of AoE going down team fights, you'd have to imagine. And only Earth has a spell immunity. So the other two, they have what's called resistant skin, which basically... so skills that have like separate effects for heroes and creeps, and this one gives an example, Enchantress's enchant spell will use the hero effects when targeting these warriors. So, like it could either be 4 seconds or like 15 seconds or whatever. Yeah, it's always going to be the 4. It's going to be the lower end, basically.
Yeah, like Drunken Haze, actually, because it's the 8-second duration on heroes.
Exactly. It's just like that. So if there's a Panda versus Panda lane, that's what's going to happen. Which probably won't happen too often, but regardless. And then it says, skills that affect only creeps, such as Doombringer's Devour, or only heroes, such as Witch Doctor's Death Ward, will not affect the warriors. So, it's not like a big deal, but it could be helpful. Also, just like Shadow Demon's Amplify Damage, that's only heroes. I mean, not that you would use that. Yeah, it's only heroes. You have a very puzzled look for the people not watching. Prove me I'm wrong, but I'm almost certain it's only heroes. So you couldn't cast that on, like, the Storm Bear or something.
We'll see. We'll see. I think another really good item to have on them, too, is Drums of Endurance. Because you're giving all of your little pandas the extra movement speed.
You can't activate
your Earth
it,
is
though.
giving that. No, you can't, but you are getting the extra attack speed and the extra movement speed. For you, for the Earth and the Storm, the Fire is already moving at max, so that's not really a big deal, but, I mean, it's just a really nice thing to have. It's also giving you the higher mana pool and giving you more strength and just general stats, so really nice to pick up there. And it's just nice to have on a team in general.
Darn it.
You're wrong, I know.
I know. I can never be right. Okay, well, maybe it's because people aren't noob and they put it on heroes that it just seems that way, but okay. Sure. Okay. I give in.
It's okay. Okay. What items do you think, as I've named the last two? You get to pick one, sir.
Items for this dude?
Yeah. Preferably. I mean, you know, whatever.
As opposed to... Alright, so you went over kind of like basic items for him? You went drums. You said arcane boots.
Drums, Ognims, arcane.
Okay, Ognims, definitely. Blink daggers, another one that's interesting on him. It's similar, very similar to when we discussed Ursa Warrior. To get that initiation on people. You jump in, you thunderclap, gives that 55 movement speed slow at that last rank, and then you throw your little Drunken Haze on them, and they're just... Yeah, they're slow as anything, and that's really going to help you kill people. It is a big investment, though. I mean, 2150 just for a blink ability. When you don't really need the survivability aspect of it. You can, it helps, but you don't really, just because of your ultimate. But I don't know. Do you like that on him?
It's interesting, but I think I'd rather prefer something like maybe BKB. Especially because you're a strength hero, you're getting a lot of damage out of that item. And if you pop that and get your, let's say, the 5 seconds of immunity, the lowest amount, and then you do that into your ultimate, I mean, how are they going to try and deal with you? I mean, you're completely immune to spells, and then you go into a form where you're incredibly difficult to kill, and then your Earth is immune to spells, so I think that's a strong pickup on him.
I like him similar. I like him as an Aura bot, kind of like you were talking about Doombringer. I like your Aura bot Doombringer build on Panda. For example, drums, Assault Curious, Vladimir's Offering, and then maybe even you could go then like Shiva's Guard or something. Just go like tanky, real tanky, because you get the damage from his passive. That just gives you most of the damage you'll need for team fights, and with the Thunderclap on top of it, or your ultimate. Either way, you'll get a lot of damage coming out. So really then, if you just survive and keep harassing people in the team fight, the longer you survive, the more of a nuisance you've been, and I think you really affect the outcome of the game. So, I don't know. I definitely think Assault Curious is one of the better items on him, just because obviously you have more chances to crit and more armor for the tankiness, and then who doesn't like attack speed anyways? I mean, it's just a nice thing to have.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, it's definitely something to try. It's so expensive, though. Like, that's where I kind of get hung up on. I mean, when I've tried playing him a lot in, this past week, trying to figure out how I liked building him, and he's very strange. It seems like you pick up one item, you're like, wow, I really wish I had this other item, and you pick up that, and it's like, oh, I really wish I had this. So, I don't know. I definitely do think that, like, if we're talking about core, I'd say Arcane Boots and drums for sure.
I don't know about Arcane Boots being core.
I suppose the other ones would work.
The other ones, see, Power Tread's a very good pickup on him. Phase Boots even a pretty good, so you can get through past the creep waves or whatever to go up and use your Thunderclap and or chase heroes down or whatever. Like, I could see all three being really good on him, but either way, one form of boot is probably core. Make sure you get boots when you play him. Not Boots of Travel. That's probably the one I would say not to get, unless it's 2 hours in and you need to TP to your base.
Yeah, there you go. That's very true. I mean, all the boots are quite useful, but I mean, you know me, I like to just spam all day. You know, my Crystal Maiden and my Basilius Ring just fall so hard.
That's what they say. So hard. So they say. Ain't that cray? Okay, so.
Thank you. Yes, it is, Jay.
That be cray. Cool. So I think that's a lot we've kind of gone over. I mean, Yeah, but, I mean, honestly, I guess I'll ask you, but I think we already know the answer to this. Do you see him getting picked up in the competitive scene now that he's going into live here?
Yeah, I definitely think so. It's going to be interesting. We've been getting a lot of heroes lately who are very competitively viable. We haven't had the standard band and picks in so long, and it's really getting interesting. I mean, the more and more heroes come in, obviously, you can't have that guaranteed, I want Night Stalker, Chen, Nature's Prophet, and Teammate. Like, you can't have that anymore. And so it's really neat to see, who else is now going to kind of be pickable. I think it's interesting, too, when we saw Night Stalker, is like, as soon as there were so many people to ban, that Night Stalker got into the regular pool, like, people just stopped picking him up.
Yep.
So it'll be really interesting to see just how the meta sort of shifts around Panda. I mean, or Brewmaster, pardon me. It's definitely going to be interesting to see.
I was telling you before this cast, too. We apparently talk a lot before the cast, because I keep going back to it. We should probably record the before the show cast or something. But, yeah, how I was watching a series between MTW and I believe it was Next KZ. I don't remember exactly, though. But the point is, Anti-Mage was not picked or banned in either of those games. And you've been saying how recently he just hasn't been on the table. No teams are really that interested in him anymore. And I just find it interesting because he was so always banned or picked. Always. And like Nature's Prophet, it was just expected to happen every game. And now, for whatever reason, everyone's like, I don't really need that anymore, and instead they go with these other options. And it's also interesting to see Lycanthrope ban. Now he's like the perma-ban. Like, we've seen him only a couple times because everyone just is so afraid of his, I guess, pushing and ganking potential that no one wants to even deal with it at this point. Like, now we see Invoker in games just because of how, like you were saying, all these other heroes are getting banned that weren't before.
Yeah, definitely. I think the other thing worth mentioning about the Brewmaster here, I think it's kind of already understood, but I think kind of the players that like the Invoker, the Meepo, I'm actually surprised that our friend Craig, who was on for episode 10, isn't more interested in this hero because you can do so much with the LT, especially once you get the Agnum Scepter and they're around forever. He's really going to be most useful on those players who can really take advantage of the ability to micro and do all that little stuff inside of a team fight.
Yeah, there's a hint. If you play Chen a lot or Enchantress, go for it.
Yeah,
you'll probably enjoy it.
It's very true as well.
Although you can't jungle. Well, you could,
sorry.
but it'd be really slow. I don't know how that would go.
I think that just about wraps up our little segment on Panda. I mean, we still have so much to go over, too.
It's true. That went on a lot longer than I expected. But
when you've got like 4 moves and then 3
well,
heroes
that's true. It's
inside
essentially
of a hero,
it's like
inside
3
of a
heroes.
dream,
I know.
it's like.
Anyways, so our next slide here is all the the patch. I guess we'll just mention that a patch just came out today, and it's nothing. Well, it is and it isn't. A lot of us do think it's exciting because there's a lot of cool stuff, but unfortunately, yeah, no new hero. But Panda did just come out, so nothing to be too upset about. But anyways, you get to see here. It is a little small. I'm sorry for that. Wow, I don't even mean.
Oh.
Get the microscopes out, fellas. It's gonna be a long one. Whoa, anyways. Okay, let me just get into what I'm saying here. There's a lot of items on here. Basically what they did is they went back and remodeled a ton of these items. Not every single one, but most of them. And you can check these out on different various sites. And, you'll see exactly... Or just play the game, and they're there too. That's another option. And yeah, you get to just see how they've done it. They really did make these pretty. What do you think, Art Major?
I like them. I mean, a lot of them just got like highlights and shadows. Many of them just got like complete remodels. Helmet of the Dominator looks just sick. Like, I love it. Our buddy Mjolnir looks a little but I think for the most part, like, all these look really stellar and a lot more interesting. Mechanism looks so strange compared to how it did before, but I'm on board. It looks pretty awesome. I think it's really nice, and it bothers me that people hate this patch so much because there was no hero, but it's really nice just to see all these little touches that they're going back over and remaking what was, for the most part, a good set of thumbnails anyway for these items, and just really going to put that gloss, that extra final touch on this stuff, to make sure this game is up to snuff for release.
Yeah, what were you saying though? That is the boots of elven skin.
Oh yeah, they look like bracers.
Yeah, I'm bouncing over it right now. If you guys can see, those are totally bracers. Like I don't know what elves were wearing those as boots, but they are. They need the real. Are they like hobbit elves or something? Like they don't really actually have shoes, and that's just kind of what they decided to go. I don't know.
My other complaint is Ring of Basilius when it's on isn't glowy, but when you turn it off, it like leaks out this ethereal glow, which is strange to me because you would think when it's on the creeps that it would be glowing and.
Oh, is that the bloodstone? No. Oh no! What is that item?
Which one?
Above the cranium basher, under the chrysalis.
Oh gosh, under chrysalis, over cranium basher.
Yeah.
Oh,
what is that? It's definitely not heart. It's or not bloodstone rather. It's wow. It looks like a gem of some sort.
Is it purse? Where's purse?
No, because it's under the attack damage or combat items. That's what that column is. Well, we should waste too much time, but
no, let's not waste it all.
Let's just, you know what, 30 minutes. Let's play a guessing game. Let's keep listing off items until one of them sounds right.
Yeah, we just armlet of armlet.
Oh, is that armlet?
That's what it is. Yeah, it actually looks better in the image I have because it looks like a fist.
I was gonna say this looks like just like a pink squishy like Play-Doh. It looks like a ball of Play-Doh. It's under combat, so like I don't understand how that's like combative Play-Doh. Like I don't know. Do you remember those? Okay, totally off topic. But do you remember those tanks that you would pour the sand in and it would become like foamy, and you could play with it in the water?
No.
Oh my gosh. How do you?
But I think I still want it.
I almost about to pull up a site over this thing just to show people. I'm doing it on the side. Dude, no, it was seriously the coolest thing ever. Yeah, you just poured sand into, I'm typing it as I'm saying it, poured sand into water, and, is it called magic sand?
Oh my gosh, now I have to Google it. Thank you very much.
No, this is what people want to see.
This is what they tune in for
magic
on the Dota
sand.
Cast. They just like, show me some magic sand.
I think it was actually a toy though, but I'm going to just use this right now. Hey everyone, look at that image. I don't know what properties make it do that, but regardless. Anyways, that was my fun little sidetrack of the day.
Fantastic.
So that's the games. Yeah, back to reality here. Yeah, as we said, cool stuff. Hopefully they continue to keep polishing up the game. Like it is only beta, so probably the best thing we should have mentioned was that Heaven's Halberd, in fact, looks like a halberd and does not say the name in the square anymore.
I'm kind of depressed, man.
I know.
You could never forget the name of that item.
I could look and be like, BDLM, that is Heaven's Halberd. I could just look from a mile away. Well, no, probably not a mile away. My vision's not that good, but you know what I mean. But alas, I guess we'll just have to learn these things now.
I know. I'm gonna be so confused. What was I buying earlier in a game? I just like stared at the shop and was like, I need this one. Okay, go.
Well, that's the funny thing, like because we get the option of now that grid view compared to classic. I don't know what the other one's called, but yeah. So you have to be it looks like this essentially. What's on the screen now? That's what grid view looks like. So if you don't really know what items kind of look like. Now you probably even have more trouble, so you might want to go back to Classic for a week or two just to remember what everything is, and then switch back to Grid. So, anyways,
there you go. The other big thing,
Go ahead.
The other big thing that was released this patch was the new heads-up display, which again some people just seem to hate, but I think it's pretty snazzy actually. It has the coolest thing for me is it shows a little picture of the courier, the bottom right, and it will show you who the courier is flying to if it's in motion. So it's a good way to just, like, if you call the courier and somebody stops it and brings it to them, you know who's trolling you. You also know if somebody else does interrupt and take the courier, you know when they're done with it, and when you have the option to use it again. So I mean, just a small thing like that, I think is really awesome, and also just displaying the move speed. I know some people are like, no, that's stupid. You can just click on the enemy hero now. You know if if you're gonna be able to chase them down or not. All right, I guess that's true, but it is nice that they're sort of streamlining it, making it very simple, and just placing it into terms that are just for Dota 2 and not still working off of the like War 3 setup. Yes.
I agree. I don't know how you didn't mention the cool rock formations going on in the background. I mean, that's just the
Rocks
bee's knees.
everywhere.
I mean, you need to be rock solid when you're playing. That can come out right. So, ignore that last comment. What I really like about this HUD heads-up display, if you will, is I like the bottom right corner where it has your score and your last hits and denies. I find myself so often, maybe it's because I played League of Legends a lot, I don't know, for whatever reason, I used to see how much creep score I've gotten in the game to kind of keep pace for yourself. So I think to improve as a player, and if you're not just playing support like you, like for people that need to farm, like it's good to keep track of how you're doing in your farming to see if you're making improvement or not, because ultimately it is really important for most like what is it, the 2 carries and etc. to get farm. So that's just a quick reference now. You don't have to go to the scoreboard, you don't do anything. It's like there's your record, there's your creeps. You can kind of always keep track of what you're doing. I like the sword background in front of your damage. As well as saying like the plus in green, everything's like bigger numbers, bigger, easier to read. Like you were saying with the movement, it's just easier to just take a glance at and see everything rather than like, which one's that number? Oh god, I can't figure it out. And, like you've already wasted like 3 creep kills worth of time just trying to figure out something. Like maybe we're exaggerating just a little bit, but the point is it does help overall.
Yeah, I mean, like I was just reading through some of the comments posted under it. Some people were like, "Oh, it looks like childish," and yada yada. I was like, "Okay, I guess," but it's just making everything a little bit simpler and easier to read, so that you're not as much struggling with the UI as you are the opposing team.
That's right, and I think the health and mana bars are a little cleaner too. I think they're more like, what's it, gradient? What's the word I'm looking for? Like very clean cut. I don't know. Maybe that was just me when I was just looking at it. I just maybe thought it was, but okay. Anyways, go check these things out in game. You can test them out, see what you think about them. Let us know.
There you go. Form your own opinions.
Yeah. You don't have to use ours, but they're good ones. So
there you go. Some cool bot stuff, some cool other stuff in there with the patch. But these are the big things, and then of course Panda being added in, or Brewmaster. Do you want to call him Badger? They added Badger.
The BBB.
B3.
The triple B threat, or what's that called?
I don't even know.
Just go with it.
Yeah, man, I don't know. We've been going for a while now. Do you want to wrap things up?
No, not yet.
What do you got now, crazy man?
What do you mean, what do I have now? There's definitely at least one thing we have to cover that you're trying to avoid. Fine. You're trying to get out of it. But I promised our viewers last week that we would say this. This is the item segment. Oh, and maybe it's a regular segment. Who knows? But today...
I hope not. Not on my show, it's not.
It's a good thing you're only owning 50% of it. So, so I asked BDLM to come up with an item that if he were to have an item named after him, what it would do in the game. And then he started going into a hero that he likes. I'm like, okay, next week we'll go into an item. We'll each do this item thing. So we both have one now. Hopefully at least he does. I know I do. Do you want to start off? Would you like to say what your item would do?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes, I would. Well, I had to. I thought if anybody's familiar with the World of Warcraft, the old World of Warcraft, there's something called Lightning Capacitor, where after using a certain number of moves, you would do additional damage to your target. I thought that might actually be interesting to perhaps put on an item, which would go well with heroes like Queen of Pain, like Storm Spirit. It's just something to toss out there. I was also thinking it might be interesting to have something cheap that maybe supports or jungling. I was thinking Axe specifically, actually. I was like, I wish I could think of a good item that would just work really well on Axe and make him maybe more usable. Maybe not. But something that would give you some health, some mana regeneration. And then whenever you cast a spell, you got a charge, and you could activate these charges to give you mana over time. So that maybe you could build these up as you were going through the jungle. and okay, I have a good opportunity to gank, pop this, so maybe over 10-15 seconds you can get some mana back, and then be able to gank the lane. Or if you're playing a support hero, you get to use like your Anchor Smash, your Scream of Terror if you're Howl of Terror? Vengeful Spirit? You know what I'm talking about.
Howl of Terror.
There you go. Or just nuking fools on Crystal Maiden. You can be aggressive like that with your spells, and then you have that sort of mana to go back to.
So what's your original item? Because I kind of liked it. Was it similar to a magic wand, but like the opposite? Like, or is it just spells you cast, not like your allies?
Spells you cast.
Oh, okay. I was just thinking, like, what if you try to make like an opposite approach, like where you make an item that's based on what you and your allies cast, and what does it do when it has a certain amount of charges? Like, I don't. That's kind of an interesting approach to an item.
Yeah. Or in Heroes of Newerth, what's his name? The big fatty guy breathes fire on everything. His ultimate's Hell on Newerth.
Oh, Balfagor.
Balfagor. Yeah, so when spells were cast around him, his ultimate got stronger. So you could even have something like that where it's like a move for a hero or an item where when a certain number of spells are cast around you, you can do damage to maybe a random target or a random hero in range.
Yeah, that's a cool idea. Alright. No, I give you a little pat on the back for that.
Magical item that you had 2 weeks to make up.
2 weeks? I don't know about that. I literally actually thought this up during my lunch break today. And it was that amazing, though. It was like a revelation.
Go for it.
Called Jay the Decapitator. That is the name of this item. Oh, you're going to be impressed. So, I was trying to think of ways, first of all, to use items that are already in the game as stepping stones up to this item, and I successfully did that for sure. So, let's dive in. So, this requires a Medallion of Courage, a Quelling Blade, an Ogre Axe. It's expensive. An Ogre Axe, there's got to be tweaking, by the way, but let me finish. Mithril Hammer, and then a recipe cost.
And then there's a Bloodstone.
There's a Bloodstone, a Abyssal Blade, a Divine Rapier, and T-Pain. Alright, so once you get all those beautiful items, which cost, by the way, 44.25 gold, I believe it is. Yeah, some of us did a little more math than others. It's okay.
I can live with that.
So what this item does, it gives the 24 damage, 10 strength, the 6 armor, and the 50% mana regen. That's basically all the stats of the items involved in it. But what the cool thing is its activate. So what I envisioned in my head was similar to Beastmaster when he throws his wild axes. What I envisioned when I was thinking of this item is you cast it at either a line or a target point. It throws this axe and it like is spinning in the air in a circular fashion as it's going. It goes down this line, right, and then it returns to you like a boomerang almost. And what it does is it throws it in that line, dealing a certain amount of damage. I put 250 as an arbitrary number. I have no idea what it actually would be. But let's just say 250 damage and reducing the armor of all those hit by 6 for 5 seconds. It's like a 30-45 second cooldown. Not exactly sure about the balancing there either. And then I was also possibly thinking wherever its max point was, if someone was there when it got hit, maybe they got stunned for a second or something.
Maybe they just die. If they're right
chance
there,
on it to decapitate. Well, it's a decapitator. It should probably decapitate. No, but I love the idea of like that either line or targeted thing, and it does damage and reduces armor in like a team fight fashion. And that's why I thought it was okay maybe to make it so expensive, because it really provides a ton for team fighting. What do you think? Yes.
It's Ogre Club.
Okay.
And Mithril
I can
Hammer.
explain my choices there.
No.
Okay.
I'm not even gonna. Just let me get this now first. So it's those 2 items, right? Plus some other stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So why would I not go BKB and go for your item?
Because you're looking for team fight helping, rather than your own survival. BKB is totally selfish. BKB is I need to survive and everyone else can go die. This item is, and this is the kind of tricky part. I wanted to use the Medallion of Courage really bad, but I also wanted to be this final thing. I'm like, well, it'd be cool if supports could get an item like this where it makes it like so they help out in a team fight more. But I didn't want every support to be able, because this is going to be a good item, and I didn't want like every support getting this every game. So I'm like, I want to make it a little more expensive, so I put some more meaty items in there, and I wanted the strength, I wanted the damage output, because it's a freaking decapitator. It should have some damage on it for F's sake. Yeah, I dropped that letter. What are you going to do about it? So, and then the Quelling Blade, I put that in there purely because it's an axe.
That is beautiful. And the best reason for anything ever.
Maybe it's just here on New Earth, but I swore you could use that item to deny creeps. I could throw it or get a last creep hit with it. Is that in Dota too? Or is that just Han?
I don't know. I think you're crazy.
Well, anyways.
Just a general.
Do you like the general thought of a spinning axe doing damage and reducing armor of everyone it hits?
Maybe.
Okay, that's.
I mean, it's interesting. I like the targeting, or not the target, but the skill shot item.
Yeah,
that's just interesting.
Yeah, me too. Like I said, obviously balancing. I am not a freaking balancer, a game designer, so I don't know the first thing about it. But I think the damage can be sacrificed if to get that much armor reduction. I don't know where the line is drawn there, but yeah, I like the idea of reducing the armor of everyone it hits, because it's gonna, like, if you can, like, for example, Enigma ult, and then you throw this axe over it, and all those 4 or 5 people now have 6 reduced armor. Like, you can just chain that up so well. It's gonna be nice. I don't know, and then I could see built on even semi carriers or like Beastmaster or someone like getting this, like someone that wants to get that medallion but doesn't want to. Like, normally you can't turn in anything else. It's just going to sit there in your inventory. But now you have potential to turn into this ganking tool or team fight tool that's really helpful for your team.
I still feel like if you got somebody that close to BKB, they would just go BKB.
I might change out a couple. I might change like Mithril Hammer to Claymore, and then like, I don't know about the Ogre Axe. I think the Ogre Axe needs to stay, but I don't know. Maybe not 4K gold. Maybe keep it like 3K, 3.5. I don't know. You'll figure it out.
You merge Medallion of Courage with Battle Fury.
What? No.
And then there's your axe.
But that would have to do it. That's way too expensive. No one's going to do that. That's ridiculous. I don't think so. I know hard carries will never get it. That's what I'm trying to say. I wanted it to go on semi-carries and maybe supports if they somehow got enough farm. Like, we were talking about that Tide Hunter who got the Heaven's Halberd. And I was like, what's another item in that price range? This could be that item in that price range. I don't know. Just an idea.
Well, there you go. Well, thank you for forcing me to come up with something.
No, well, I had the cool idea that time. You had the first cool idea. I just struggled, so I'm glad we could switch roles for this week.
There you go. Well, I think
that's enough for today. I think
that's a good wrap up.
Yeah, we covered a lot, but like we said in the beginning of the cast, we are going to be looking for you guys to like our Facebook and leave us those questions, and make sure they're interesting, and please do not relate them to the beta key themselves, or we will automatically just skip over you, because obviously that's not really interesting to us, believe it or not. So
yeah, good thinking Dota 2 related questions will help you. They certainly can't hurt.
Absolutely.
But I think until next time, I am BDLM. This is my buddy J4Y. Please come look at us, find us on the Facebooks, yada, 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 yada. Go check out DotaTalk.com for just a bunch of amazing information, interviews, forums, yada, yada. We'll see you guys on our Nature's Prophet Guide. Check that out. And then also on our podcast next weekend. Talk to you later, guys.